Hello, my beautiful souls, and welcome to Healing with Hila. This is your space for aligning, expanding, and reconnecting with who you truly are. I'm your host, Hila Kedem Ferguson. I'm a transpersonal hypnotherapist, manifestation coach, and sound creator. Thank you so much for inviting me into your life. Hello, my beautiful souls. I really wanted to create an episode about the magic of music and affirmations. I have noticed the most incredible shift in my reality since creating and working with affirmation music. And I've really paid attention and started to notice what happens when there's a song that is stuck in my head and the reprogram that it does when that song is affirmation. Now, the stuff that I wake up with is my body knows, or I trust divine timing, or whatever it is that's filling the empty gaps and spaces in my mind are my songs, are constant affirmations that are running. And I just started to really notice the magic of music and reprogramming, music and the subconscious. I'm part of this nostalgic group on Facebook. It's like 80s and 90s kids. And it was really interesting because somebody was posting about like old TV shows, and there's always all kinds of posts about it. Do you remember this? You remember that? And when people describe it, I have no idea what they're talking about. And they'll post pictures, and I have no idea what they're talking about. And then somebody will link like the opening song of the show, and within the first couple of notes, I can sing it. I remember the lyrics. I remember like 98% of it. And it's crazy, right? It opened my mind up and my eyes to this incredible magic that's actually happening right now with my music. I couldn't believe that I was able to recite this opening song to this show that I have not seen in 35 years or even heard of. It was from a different country, and it was incredible. And again, I've really started to pay attention and notice music and reprogramming, what music does, right? My 5-year-old comes home from school and she learned about days of the week or the month of the year, and it's in a song. And as soon as she sings that, she remembers it. It's there, and it's there so fast. I've been taking care of children with disabilities and autism. I have witnessed the magic of music therapy and how once you put music with whatever it is that you're trying to help with the mind and the brain, magic happens. And now this door that's unlocked for me, this door that I didn't even know existed. And it's here. And as a hypnotherapist, as somebody that has dedicated themselves to the healing arts for over 20 years, I've been teaching people about reprogramming, about neuroplasticity, about shifting their mind. We know that our thoughts create reality. We know that's the base of which we work with if we want to see physical changes in our lives. And now I have this tool, and this tool is so much more powerful than any other tool I've ever had. There's still great value to working with the subconscious in its slower, more gentle states to provide healing and understanding. I still use it. I go into meditation. We talked about channeling our last episode. Every time I find myself needing help and support and understanding something deep, I have to slow down. I have to eliminate lyrics and affirmations and move within. So, hypnosis and those other tools definitely have space for them. But when it comes to working with affirmations, I used to always tell my clients, write them, repeat them, hang them on the wall so you see them and it's there, and you keep engaging your consciousness in them so you can pave those new pathways. But now, song, you guys, just sing them. sing them, and it will change everything. Put them to music that you'll be able to hear, and it will trigger that response. Wow. And so I really wanted to talk a little bit about it. I want to do a little, we're going to learn a little about this. We're going to learn about this together. We're going to talk science just a tiny bit. We're going to understand all this magic that's happening. And I really hope that you're going to take from it this incredible tool that we can use to literally craft a new reality for ourselves. All right, so Robo Assistant came to the rescue, and we're going to talk a little bit about the science and music and subconscious reprogramming. I think I'm just going to read to you some of the stuff that I was able to research, and then we can talk about it a little bit more. So, number one, music activates multiple brain regions at once. Unlike most stimuli, music activates many areas of the simultaneously, including those responsible for emotions, memory, movement, and attention. When listening to music, the brain engages the auditory cortex, the emotional centers, the motor areas, and memory networks all at the same time, which is why music has such a powerful impact on how we feel and remember things. Multiple neural systems are activated together. Music strengthens neural connections, which supports learning and memory formation. And so it doesn't just stimulate one part of our brain, right? It lights up all those multiple networks. And we're connecting emotions, we're connecting memory, we're connecting movement. That's my big one, right? Dance to manifest, move your body as you listen, and cognition. And this is why it can truly start reshaping those internal patterns so powerfully. All right, let's go to the next one. Music strengthens neuroplasticity. Research shows that music can strengthen neural pathways and support neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to recognize and create new connections. This is the same process that allows us to form new habits, learn new beliefs, and create new thought patterns. When sound and rhythm are repeated, the brain begins rewiring itself around those patterns. Okay, so neuroplasticity basically mean that the brain is constantly changing, right? It's always changing, it's always shifting. Every time we introduce a new pattern, I always teach you guys it's the rain on the rocks. We carve those pathways. When affirmations are combined with music and then repetition and emotional engagements, we start to strengthen those neural pathways. So those water droplets are truly carving in the rock. The grooves we're creating are so much stronger. What normal just repetition would do when you combine it with sound and music, it just truly amplifies it so much more. And again, this example of my kid learning songs, as soon as you put it in that kind of frame, you remember it and you know it for yourselves. How easy it is to listen to a song and then remember it versus just a statement, a written or a spoken statement. All right, number three. I love this one. Music releases dopamine. This is the motivational chemical. Listening to music triggers the release of dopamine, the neurotransmitter linked to pleasure, reward, and motivation. This is important because the brain learns best when emotions are involved. When affirmations are delivered through music, we get an emotional increase, a dopamine rise, the brain becomes more receptive, which makes beliefs and messages more likely to stick. Dopamine is the brain's primary learning and encoding chemical. When a belief or a message arrive alongside a dopamine release, like during music, the brain is far more likely to encode it as real and important. And so basically, the brain will give a priority. It would literally rewire itself more to that structure because it's presented with music and sound, and it has a dopamine release as you sing it, speak it, than if you didn't. And I was just like, oh, my mind is blown. This is so cool, right? All right, number four. Music creates powerful memory encoding. That's that piece I told you about. Seeing that show, hearing that opener. Okay. Music is extremely effective at storing information in long term memory. Studies show that melodies, rhythm, and repetition create pattern recognition in the brain, making information easier to recall. That's why people can remember songs from decades ago. For example, many people can sing songs they haven't heard in years. Melodies often bring back vivid memories. And so the music acts like a memory anchor. Rhythm and melody creates a structure, and then the brain can easily store and retrieve it. When words are embedded in music, the message becomes more neurologically sticky. And it's so true, you guys. It's so true. Think about any other song that you know. Okay, number 5. Music connects emotions and memory. Music strongly activates emotional centers in the brain, which is why songs often trigger vivid autobiographical memories. Emotions strengthen memory formation because the brain prioritizes emotionally meaningful experiences. This is why music therapy is often used with dementia patients, trauma healing, neurological rehabilitation. Music reaches deep subconscious memory systems. Music enters the emotional brain, the limbic system, faster than spoken language. The brain remembers rhythm without trying, and the more emotion a message carries, the faster the brain encodes it. When you repeat an affirmation consistently, your brain reticular activation system, RAS, a filter that decides what information is important, begin treating those statements as priority signals. Okay, let's open this up a little bit more. Let's talk more about the RAS. The reticular activating system's job is to act like a filter for reality. So, at any given moment, our senses are taking in millions and millions of pieces of information. Everything is coming at us: sounds, colors, movements, sensations. And our brain can't process everything at once. So, the RAS is our filter. It decides what information gets through into our conscious awareness. What do we actually notice? And it basically filters reality based on three main things. Number one, what you believe. Number two, what you repeatedly think about. And number three, what you emotionally focus on. And so this is where all the juice is, right? Because this is exactly what laws of the universe say. This is how we create reality. And so, in other words, the brain is constantly scanning the world, right? And it's constantly looking for evidence that supports that internal programming. First, the filter is created by what you believe, by what you repeatedly think about, what you emotionally focus on. The filter keeps shifting and changing, but first it's created, and then you scan reality, and then things come in. And that's really the key of it, guys. That's when we say, everything I want is already here, everything I want is already mine. Your reality holds within it everything. And what you allow in through your filter is what is actually created in physical reality around you. And when you tweak your filter, you changes the physical reality that's surround you. So nothing suddenly appear. Everything is always here. It's just that you are unable to connect with it because of the belief. So if we carry the belief that, I struggle with abundance and money and, I always have to work hard for things to come, right? I always tell you guys, the universe is going to say, you're right, here's more. So really what happens is the brain begins to filter reality and keep giving you evidence to support this belief. And it says, yes, you're right. Here's more struggle. Yes, you're right. Here's more hard work. And as soon as you begin to shift your thought patterns, you begin to introduce new beliefs, you reprogram your mind, your filter begins to bring that in. It starts bringing in a new pattern and just showing that to you. Now it's, I am supported, opportunity comes, abundance is here, everything I want is already mine. And so it begins to scan it. And now opportunities and resources, everything happens in physical reality. You begin to notice it. It begins to come into your physical existence. And as we repeat things, right, we carve that rock. We allow the new to emerge even faster. So the RAS responds to the repetition and the emotional significance that's connected to it. When the brain keeps hearing the same message, it begins to mark it as important information. So when we repeat affirmation, especially with music, we can start truly changing this that filter. That RAS responds and new reality will start forming. And what makes it so incredible is the music. Because when we just speak stuff casually, the brain will just filter it as background noise. It won't give it as importance. But when we embed it in music, the brain starts to pay more attention. And then the emotions begins to activate more. And then repetition becomes enjoyable. We love singing our songs and repeating them again and again. It's not a chore anymore. It's nothing that I have to remember to put on the wall to do. It repeats it automatically. It plays in my car with enjoyment and fun, right? And it changes everything. It literally signals the brain and says, this matters. Pay attention to this right now. And the RAS begins updating what it allows you to perceive. You guys, just truly game changer. And so, again, why affirmation music is especially powerful. We have repetition, which reinforces those neural pathways. And it's being delivered with that increased dopamine and memory retention. There's rhythm that helps encode the information into that long term memory. And then we have that relaxed listening states that allows us to open up to our alpha and theta states as we're listening, being extremely receptive. And especially when we layer those hertzes and frequencies to help the subconscious move into those states. And it's interesting because I think I'm just so sensitive to affirmations, the way they're formed, the spoken word, and which way it's being delivered, that was one of my biggest issues when I would listen to affirmation and manifestation music before I created it. There were very few songs, very few, I think maybe two, that didn't have negative repetition in it. And I would find myself so engaged in the music and repeating the lyrics, right? Again, it was coming out of me in those empty spaces, non consciously, very subconscious, earworm. And I found myself repeating phrases that were not in alignment for me and really noticing the power that they hold. Now, emotions is everything. If somebody sings no begging and feel like empowered and great and amazing, then good on them. They will most likely benefit from that state. But if you hear that phrase and immediately you think about begging, you think about needing, and then try to cancel it, the subconscious doesn't work in your favor in that way. Any negative that we bring forward into our mind, our brain has to first see it and then undo it. And so if I tell you, don't think of a pink elephant, you will think of a pink elephant and then try to not think about it because it's just the way that suggestions work. And it was so beyond important for me when crafting and creating my music that I am anchored in those very present repetitions, and that I'm very mindful of anything that's being spoken that I wouldn't want created and manifested. Because again, my subconscious, my mind does not understand negative. It will first format and then try to unformat, which we know through the laws of the universe doesn't work very well in our favor. And honestly, that was the biggest and main push for me to craft my affirmation songs. So I'm super diligent in that. And in a way, I'm creating my own processes. It's what I'm teaching you guys. I learned the power of reprogramming my mind through song and went, I want to create my perfect stuff, the stuff I'm working on, the affirmations I speak and say all the time, and put them in song form so I can reprogram my mind and my life. And I knew that the subjects that I work on and the teachings that come to me are supposed to be shared forward. And therefore, I've started to craft that for all of us, and it's going really well. And it truly created and become my own personal healing process. Anything I have been dealing with since November, I have put into song form in order to create new neural pathways and shift my life. And it's been working rapidly. I cannot believe it's been only since November. And it's been so incredible. And I know that many of my listeners have been feeling the same way. And so recently I've been on a body kick, just trying to heal a lot of physical things. And so really moving into calling in those healing words and healing frequencies that anchor my knowing and allow me to again create those new neural pathways. And I absolutely love the benefit of the space in my mind being filled with those lyrics. I found when I'm in my meditative states throughout my day, when I enter my alpha and theta, when I just blitz out, the lyrics come through. My affirmations fill in the gaps, and it's been making all the difference. And how many times do random songs on the radio you've been listening to or your favorite music have been coming and popping in your mind in those moments? And think to yourself, if it's your favorite music, if it's stuff you listen to, what is the message? What is it saying? What are you repeating? How are you feeling when you're, in that space and singing it? It makes a difference. And so now, since this has become kind of my own healing process, I found myself today feeling really upset about just the state of the world. Things have been really intense all around us. And I remember my friend making the post about how when you feel in that space of helplessness, how the Ho'oponopono Hawaiian prayer is really here to anchor us back into how can we offer a frequency that is actually helpful? Because when I find myself in a space of feeling helplessness, I know I am not helping the state of the world. If I'm angry, if I'm upset, if I feel any kind of negative emotion, I create from that space and I create what I don't want. I create what's not in alignment. And so I know to be mindful of those feelings and then to move into action to shift them. And I just woke up this morning feeling so in need of creating a process, a reprogram process for myself that I can go to when I feel those feelings. None of my affirmation songs really hit on that space. It needed to be simple. And I wanted that prayer. I love it. It's so powerful. I absolutely love it. It's so transformative. And so here I am crafting. I am sorry. Please forgive me. I thank you. I love you. And magic comes out, and it's been just playing and in my background, and all day I'm thinking about it and singing it. And it brought forth so much more ease and harmony and peace for me. Anytime I'm feeling those feelings, I'm able to just recite the song and feel it and hear it so much more than just the words, than just a prayer I know. And I'm just so grateful to have a tool, a process that I can go to for that easy reprogram, for that easy shift. The shift is so fast, you guys. And I'm watching our world change with it. I'm telling you, started to look for this when I first heard the song in October. And I scanned Spotify and I found any artist I could find. And I literally had a handful to choose from. And within them, a little bit more. You guys, there's hundreds of them now. Like it exploded. Manifestation music is on the map. It had truly become a genre now. Spotify is full of them. There are so many artists on TikTok. I can't even count. And I'm just thinking to myself, what a gift this is for humanity. What a gift it is to have literally a new emerging genre of music that is all about raising the frequency on the planet. Even the songs that have a little bit of the negative, the gist of them is amazing. They're still raising the vibe, they're still helping so many people. And I'm just so grateful to be part of it, to witness it, to be in it as it's happening and forming. It's just really pretty incredible. And I love that because I do feel like it's humanity calling in this tool. It's saying, "I wanna level up, give me more, give me more of what I can do to create the reality I want." More people are aware of the laws of the universe, how this universe works. There's science that backs up all the stuff. I hope you enjoyed today. That was such a stretch for me, you guys. I am so not a science girl and, like, reading you research and teaching you about like what it really means. And so it was a stretch, this episode today for me as well. But I thought it was super interesting. It was very, very informative. And I know I learned a lot. And it was really great because it was such a confirmation for anything that comes to me intuitively that spirit shows me. And then science goes, oh, yeah, we've studied it. We can tell you that's true. And so I really appreciate this space to share it with you guys. And I hope that it helps. And I hope that it calls you to explore more manifestation music or even create your own stuff into a song form, a melody. You can do it on your own. Whatever you need is here for you. It's just such a powerful tool that I hope you pay attention to. And of course, I hope you check out my songs, Dance to Manifest, Sounds to Manifest, Magic to Manifest. I have them for everything, everybody, all very, very carefully crafted and here to just elevate humanity. Thank you so much for joining me today, and thank you for inviting me into your lives. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Healing with Hila. If you'd like to explore more, join our amazing community on Patreon for my Midnight Thoughts, exclusive podcast, and so much more. Thank you so much for inviting me into your life. So much love your way.